This young man had to give up his studies and his dream of becoming a beast tamer to work as a low-level illusion beast miner entering the illusion beast's secret realm, and mine various ores with different properties in that secret realm. Today, while working, Li Van Hien suddenly heard a terrible scream echoing, and he and Vuong Kien Kwok hurriedly ran to the miners' group. Upon assessing the situation, they discovered a miner being torn apart by an illusion beast, while a guy with purple hair stood there appearing completely indifferent as a miner pointed directly at him and said, "Your illusion beast has gone crazy. It's killed someone." The other miners began to angrily shout, "Quick, control it! You're a beast tamer! Don't just stand there in a daze! Go call for help!" "No need to worry, I will handle it." The purple-haired man revealed a savage smile as he commanded the Mong Yem Lang to eliminate all of you. The Mong Yem Lang then lunged at the other miners who, seeing their comrade being torn apart, fled in panic. Only Van Hien remained motionless, his mind recalling the interview he had heard earlier. He had overheard it while on his way to the secret realm for work. Kelly, one of the strongest S-rank beast tamers at that time, had said that some dark illusion beasts could evolve into stronger individuals by absorbing negative emotions from humans such as anger and despair. If you encounter this type of illusion beast in the wild, please be careful. Remember this. Van Hien then shouted loudly, "Everyone don't run around gathered together. Don't panic, or it will make the Mong Yem Lang even stronger. The beast tamer wants to take advantage of everyone's panic to evolve the Mong Yem Lang. Everyone please don't panic. If we concentrate in one place, the Mong Yem Lang will find it hard to win." The other miners hearing this stopped running, looking at Van Hien with half-belief, half-doubt, surprised that this seemingly weak kid had such a sharp mind. Just as he said, "My dark attribute, Mong Yem Lang, needs to consume your negative emotions to evolve, so I will give you two choices right now. You can either listen to that little demon, unite and fight against my Mong Yem Lang. Let's see if you can subdue the Mong Yem Lang before it finishes all of you off. Or you can kill each other so that my Mong Yem Lang can absorb enough energy to evolve." The miners looked at each other in silence. They couldn't let everyone be enchanted by him. They needed to find a way to calm everyone down. If this continued, they would surely destroy each other. Just then, Van Hien suddenly noticed a tattoo on the arm of the purple-haired man. It was the tattoo of an illusion beast crime organization, the Dark Hunter Group. He was a criminal. "I give you 5 seconds to think," the purple-haired man urged, then began counting down. "Everyone stay calm, don't trust him. He is not a good person." Before Van Hien could finish his sentence, he was stabbed in the chest, and the one who attacked him was someone he had always trusted. "Vuong Kien Kwok Wai? Little Lee, don't blame me. I don't want to die. I took good care of you before. Today, shouldn't you sacrifice yourself for me? I have a wife and kids at home, and you have nothing right. I don't want to fight the Mong Yem Lang. How can a human defeat an illusion beast? So please sacrifice yourself for me and my family." Van Hien, furious, was about to punch him when another miner hit him straight in the face with a pickaxe, and then the miners began to fall apart. Van Hien, furious and about to deliver a punch, was struck directly in the face by another miner wielding a pickaxe, and then the miners began to rampage, fighting each other for a chance to survive. The negative energy they generate from killing one another is far greater than the energy produced when they dream of cursing. Lang's self-destruction of them made the smile on the purple-haired girl's face even more radiant. A moment after the massacre, it all came to an end. The group of nearly 10 people was now reduced to just 2 survivors. "One of them is the king of the kingdom. Now what should we do?" The king glanced at Van Hien, who lay motionless in a pool of blood, then without hesitation kicked him into the lake. "Just say that today we encountered a mining accident. We absolutely must not speak a word about today's events. We need to synchronize our stories before going outside." The king and the miner discussed and then left the secret realm together. In the cold water, Van Hien looked up at the king, unwilling to accept his fate. He thought to himself that he did not want to leave. If he left, what would happen to little Nhi? Who would take care of her? He had to live. He wanted to take revenge on that bastard, the king. He also wanted to take revenge on that beast master. Thinking of this, Van Hien gradually lost consciousness. At the same time, at the bottom of the lake, a pair of red eyes opened, filled with betrayal and hatred. Furious with such a strong desire for revenge, it seems this human might be useful. "Human, I entrust my power to you, hoping you can completely destroy this enslaved world." After a while, Van Hien surfaced. It seems those people have left. Van Hien climbed ashore, and when his mind became clear again, he was surprised to find that the wounds on his body had completely disappeared. At this moment, he noticed the presence of the strawberry cat, which he had unconsciously grabbed while underwater. Could it be that this unconscious strawberry cat saved him? But as far as I know, the strawberry cat has no healing abilities. Suddenly, a notification appeared. The evolution system of the illusion beast has been activated. What is this thing that looks like a game interface? Just as Van Hyen was confused, another notification appeared. The mission to sign a contract with the illusion beast, the strawberry cat, is incomplete. The illusion beast contract means I have to become a beastmaster, right? I must become a beastmaster to take revenge on those people. Thinking of this, Van Hyen turned to look at the strawberry cat, although he did not know why the strawberry cat appeared here. If it has appeared, then let's make it my illusion beast. Van Hyen reached out to touch the strawberry cat to contract with it, but the strawberry cat suddenly woke up. Upon seeing Van Hyen's hand in front of it, it immediately jumped back in caution. Then it made a martial arts pose like Ye Wen, using its toes to show what it intended to do next. Wait, I mean no harm. I saved you from the bottom of the lake. However, despite being clear-headed, Van Hyen still couldn't escape being hit by the annoying cat. Van Hyen angrily shouted, and the strawberry cat immediately got into a stance ready for the next solo match. A moment later, Van Hyen, looking disheveled, carried the strawberry cat in his arms. As they stepped out of the secret realm, someone suddenly shouted that there was movement at the teleport gate. It seems someone just came out. Let's go check it out. Oh no, I can't let them know I'm still alive. Van Hyen quickly hid behind a wall not far away and secretly watched the two people who had just run over. Could they be the foreman of another mining team thinking of this? Van Hyen continued to observe quietly the actions of those two. Strange could it be that I heard wrong? Let's go, old man. There can't be anyone left alive outside. Today, Wang Jianguo is really unlucky. Many of his good brothers have perished in the mine. Indeed, when he stepped outside, he screamed in pain, wanting to rush in to save them, but fortunately he was held back. I heard that the beast tamer is also missing, isn't he? That's something we should be concerned about now. It's been 5 hours since the mining disaster and no one can survive coming out. Van Hyen listened to their conversation and couldn't help but feel angry. If that Wang Jianguo hadn't attacked him first, many wouldn't have had to leave like that. Wang Jianguo, I will make you pay for this after those two leave. Van Hyen didn't linger any longer and quickly returned home, but when he got there, he discovered that the apartment he shared with his sister was engulfed in flames. The neighbor, upon seeing Van Hyen, hurriedly informed him, "Little Lee, where have you been? Your house is on fire. I've called the police and the fire department. They will be here soon. By the way, where's the little girl, Tiung-Hien? Didn't she go outside with you?" Tiung-Hien, Tiung-Hien? Van Hyen shouted loudly, disregarding the danger as he rushed into the sea of flames. "Tiung-Hien, are you in there? Can you hear me?" After a moment, a voice responded from inside. "Brother, I'm here. I'm waiting for you to come save me," saying that Van Hyen quickly inserted the key into the lock. But at that moment, the doorknob was affected by the flames, making it impossible for him to open the door. "Open up, let me in." Van Hyen pulled on the door with all his might, causing the doorknob to come off. Thinking of his sister still inside, Van Hyen refused to give up. Using all his strength, he tried to break the door down, but it was futile. "Someone help me! Can anyone save my sister? She's only 13. In Van Hyen's despair, an announcement rang out. The strawberry cat had absorbed the energy and was about to wake up. Just 3 seconds later, the strawberry cat woke up. With just one move, it directly opened the door. After the two siblings reached safety, Van Hyen recounted the events inside to Tiung-Hien, who hugged the strawberry cat with a worried expression, saying, "So this happened. Brother, should we report this to the police? That Wang Jianguo is easy to deal with, but once that beast tamer knows you're still alive, he'll definitely come back. Don't worry, I won't let you be in danger again." The next day in some forest. "Yesterday I caught an extremely rare fire flame fox, and I also caught a snow dog. Today I want to test my luck to see if there are any wind-type mythical beasts around." Van Hyen sat silently in a corner, listening to others talk secretly, making a resolution to find a powerful mythical beast as soon as possible and become a beast tamer. That way, he could prevent his sister from facing danger again. At that moment, a few people turned to look at Van Hyen and the strawberry cat, mocking, "Look at that kid. He actually signed a contract with the strawberry cat. It's obvious he's a coward. 2 contracts of a junior beastmaster and yet using it for a strawberry cat. There must be something wrong with its head." Van Hyen paid no attention to the words, but stared intently at the information of a few phantom beasts in the crowd, then compared them with the stats of the strawberry cat. "What's wrong with these phantom beasts from these guys? Why are they so weak? Or is there something off with this strawberry cat? The attributes have no next evolution stage unclear. No strong or weak attributes. Rare attribute, Heavenly Emperor. Movement speed increased by 15%. Attack speed increased by 15%. Martial Saint damage dealt increased by 30%. Immortal damage received reduced by 30%. Legend attack speed increased by 15%. Damage dealt increased by 15%. This attribute. Is it really usable with the strawberry cat? This is just the right moment. A young man with blonde hair rushed out from the forest shouting, "Help, there's a second-tier phantom beast in the forest." The others were astonished upon hearing this. A second-tier phantom beast, are you sure? This forest. Isn't it the habitat of the lowest-tier phantom beasts? How could there be a second-tier one? If I can catch that second-tier phantom beast, wouldn't I become an invincible junior beastmaster? A young man showed interest and asked, "Hey, blonde kid, do you know what that phantom beast is?" "The speed of that phantom beast is too fast. I only saw a glimpse of its afterimage. I guess it must be the second-tier lightning cat." Upon hearing second-tier lightning cat, everyone except the blonde and Van Hyen immediately ran into the forest, eager to be the first to catch it. It's better to catch it than to get involved in this commotion. I don't want to end up in a situation like with Wang Jianguo again, thinking of this. Van Hyen turned to look at the strawberry cat, which was leisurely munching on a snack. "Strawberry cat, come catch the phantom beast with me." The strawberry cat turned its head to look at Van Hyen and protested with a meow. Then it buried its head back into its food. "First, we need to find a phantom beast that listens to us before we talk," Van Hyen said, angrily picking up the strawberry cat by the scruff. "Stop eating. Get to work." After a while, the strawberry cat shouldn't run around anymore. Although this is a low-tier phantom beast secret realm, it's still very dangerous. The strawberry cat meowed. It then treated Van Hyen's words like a breeze and continued to run around, making Van Hyen wonder why he always felt that this strawberry cat craved a beating. Just then, Van Hyen seemed to feel something stuck on his face. When he looked up, he discovered he was caught in a spider web. Moreover, in addition to the spider web, there was also a road spider. It looked like it wanted to devour him whole. It was diving down, but fortunately Van Hyen dodged in time. Otherwise, he would have been in big trouble. The road spider was in a frenzy, evolving to the next stage king spider. Attribute weak to fire, rare attribute ferocious. Damage increased by 10%. No, the road spider has an extremely gentle personality. What on earth provoked it to go berserk? Did I bump into something when I got here? Van Hyen was still puzzled when he ran past the strawberry cat. He slipped and discovered it was showing a defiant attitude towards the road spider. Seeing the road spider approaching, this clueless cat didn't even bother to run and seemed ready to engage in a solo battle with it. "Don't go, you silly cat! You're just a level 5 chicken. How dare you fight a level 8 spider?" Just as Van Hyen finished speaking, the spider shot out silk, turning the strawberry cat into a spring roll. Now I finally understand why. No Beastmaster wants a strawberry cat, I thought so. But Van Hyen, still very chivalrous, ran back to carry the strawberry cat and managed to escape for a while before the spider shot silk again. Van Hyen jumped to the side to dodge, but ended up jumping straight down the cliff. Above the cliff, the spider was about to leave when it sprayed water on him, and then its body began to freeze. A young man slowly approached, his eyes filled with danger as he looked down into the abyss. The scene shifted to Van Hyen, who, thanks to his ancestors, was still alive despite being hunched over. While his brain hadn't caught up yet, the strawberry cat screamed, realizing that his entire backside was pressing down on it. "Sorry, what happened to you?" Van Hyen said apologetically, after confirming that the cat was safe. He breathed a sigh of relief and began to observe his surroundings, looking at the situation here. "It seems we have fallen into the valley of the western forest." So one person and one beast wandered through the forest looking for a way out. After a while, they encountered a fluffy sheep, and with just one slap, the strawberry cat knocked the opponent out. At this point, Van Hyen began to sense something unusual. Sheep are supposed to be very gentle beasts, but why are the beasts today so aggressive? He turned to look at the strawberry cat with a judging gaze. Could it really be that it craved a fight that much? It could be that kind of ability. Looking at its attitude, sometimes I also want to give it a beating. Just then, a notification board appeared. The fluffy sheep is in a frenzy and is unconscious. This sheep is unconscious, but why is its state still frenzied? That's not right. If it's not a problem with the beasts, then this valley has an issue. We must get the strawberry cat out of the valley before something happens. Thinking of this, Van Hyen immediately said, "Strawberry cat, come with me. I think we can escape that way." "We need to leave here quickly!" The cat meowed once and turned to go in the opposite direction. This cat has actually had problems for a long time. Van Hyen, furious, said, "I told you so. Can't you listen to me just once? It's very dangerous here." The strawberry cat still didn't listen and insisted on going its own way, leaving Van Hyen no choice but to indulge it. After a while, he discovered This cat wasn't wandering aimlessly. It was leading him to a house here. Is there really a house built by humans? You brought me here on purpose, didn't you? The strawberry cat meowed in agreement. Suddenly, from inside the house, a cloud of red smoke billowed out, and then a terrible scream rang out, causing Van Hyen to shudder. What the hell is that terrifying sound? Meow, meow, the strawberry cat meowed twice. Van Hyen understood what it wanted, so he picked up a nearby piece of wood. Then he followed it into the house. As soon as the door opened, a strong stench rushed out, making it hard to breathe. Inside the house, there was no furniture, just cages filled with iron. At that moment, a weak cry rang out, catching Van Hyen's attention. How could the dog be so injured? Strawberry cat, can you break this lock? A weak cry echoed, catching Van Hyen's attention. How could the bloodthirsty dog be injured like this? Strawberry cat, can you break this lock? The strawberry cat immediately punched the lock away. Van Hyen looked at the miserable state of the extreme Korean dog and couldn't help but feel pity. Who could have done such a cruel thing? How could anyone be this evil? The extreme Korean dog number 05 was on the verge of death. Severely injured, bleeding, and poisoned with ice attributes, weak against fire, and currently unable to evolve to the next stage. Van Hyen read the information about the extreme Korean dog and took out a vial of blue liquid from his bag. Although it was only the lowest level healing potion he had, it was all he could do. It's just a try. Hopefully it will work. Seeing the vial in Van Hyen's hand, the extreme Korean dog whimpered, its small body trembling with fear. I'm saving you. Don't be afraid, Van Hyen gently reassured as he poured the potion into the extreme Korean dog's mouth. He looked at the mythical beasts locked in the iron cages and felt a surge of anger. All the mythical beasts here have to endure brutal torture. Someone is conducting extremely cruel experiments. This kind of behavior must be from that person. While Van Hyen was deep in thought, the extreme Korean dog lightly bit his pant leg, startling him. So now you can stand up, that's great. It seemed the healing potion was effective. The extreme Korean dog barked once, its pleading eyes looking at Van Hyen. Understanding its intention, he immediately followed the extreme Korean dog to a basement behind the house. The smell here was even stronger, resembling another testing site. Van Hyen took a flashlight and followed the strawberry cat deeper into the basement. A lonely basement like this. Could there be something special here? Very quickly, Van Hyen got his answer. A gigantic creature roared and charged at the strawberry cat. Fortunately, Van Hyen rushed in time to grab the strawberry cat. He jumped aside just in time to save it from a disaster. Only then did he realize. The creature that attacked the strawberry cat was a level 2 mythical beast, bloodthirsty hunting dog, number 1, a violent, bloodthirsty hound, heavily injured, bleeding with fire attributes. Weak against ice, brutal, causing 5% more damage and receiving 10% more damage. Bloodthirsty, 5% of the damage dealt is converted into its own life. While reading the description of the bloodthirsty hunting dog, Van Hyen accidentally discovered that the bloodthirsty hunting dog was wearing a collar. Was it trapped here? At that moment, the extreme Korean dog suddenly dashed towards the bloodthirsty hunting dog. Don't go over there! Do you not want to live anymore? Contrary to Van Hyen's expectations, the extreme Korean dog only rubbed its head against the bloodthirsty hunting dog, which softened its attitude. Then the extreme Korean dog turned to look at Van Hyen and barked once. It's calling me over. What does that mean? Van Hyen looked confused at the strawberry cat, which gave him a half-lidded glance. You have to tell it not to attack, then we can go over. Van Hyen spoke to the interpreter, the extreme Korean dog. After the extreme Korean dog communicated with the bloodthirsty hunting dog, he noticed that the bloodthirsty hunting dog did not show any aggressive behavior. Only then did Van Hyen feel relieved to approach them. During this process, he accidentally saw the notebook on the table titled Experiment Diary. Day 1 of the experiment, a new test subject, has finally been obtained. Today I captured 2 extreme Korean dogs. They seem to be mother and child. Day 9 of the experiment, I made the larger extreme Korean dog eat the corpses of other mythical beasts. I really look forward to its changes. Day 15 of the experiment, this extreme Korean dog is a bit difficult to deal with. Its strong will makes me detest it, but I managed to take down its child in front of the large extreme Korean dog. Finally, it got angry. Ha ha! Day 20 of the experiment. The extreme Korean dog is still alive, just like this. After the larger one evolves into a bloodthirsty hunting dog, it can eat its own child with its own mouth. Perhaps this will bring unexpected changes. For the bloodthirsty hunting dog, Van Hyen read the notes in the diary, trembling with anger. Who could possibly do such a thing? Don't worry, I'll rescue you two right now. Van Hien said to the two mother and child dogs, then turned to the strawberry cat. Strawberry cat, go break the chain and I'll try to take off the collar. The strawberry cat didn't know where to find a hammer, but as soon as Van Hien gave the order, it immediately complied, surprising Van Hien, wondering if he was imagining things. Or maybe the strawberry cat has really started to listen to me. Never mind. First, let's rescue this bloodthirsty hunting dog. After a struggle, Van Hien finally managed to remove the heavy collar from the bloodthirsty hunting dog's neck. Finally, I did it. It's also because I've worked in the mines for many years. If it were someone else, they definitely wouldn't have such good stamina. The Korean dog saw Van Hien sitting there panting and came over to nuzzle against him. All right, I understand now. Don't worry, I just need to rest a bit. Then I'll go rescue your mother. Next, there's just one last collar left. Just then, the bloodthirsty hunting dog growled and lunged at Van Hien, startling him, but he quickly understood why it was doing that. There was a sound of a person. Could it be the one conducting this experiment? Van Hien thought to himself, and along with the strawberry cat hid behind a pile of crates behind the bloodthirsty hunting dog, then whispered, Bloodthirsty hunting dog, you should wrap the chain around yourself too, don't let it show. Just a moment later, a person was pushed down into the basement. Please don't hurt me, I swear I won't tell anyone. The young man who was pushed down pleaded in fear. It's the beast tamer I met at the entrance of the secret forest. Why is he here? Just as Van Hien was wondering, the blonde guy walked in, holding an injured Korean dog, smiling and saying, Don't worry, I'm quite merciful towards humans. I only play with the magical beasts. Isn't this the person who said there was a level 2 magical beast in the forest? Could it be that this laboratory belongs to him? Van Hien speculated, then quietly observed the situation. He was curious as to why this usually docile Korean dog was proactively attacking him today. Hearing the blonde guy's question, the young man also had a vague idea. Could it be that he had done something? Because I released a lot of rose pollen in this forest. It can drive all those magical beasts in the secret forest into a frenzy and make them kill each other, the blonde explained, and then Van Hien understood what the red smoke he saw earlier was. All right, now you can rest easy and go, he said. Then the blonde aimed his crossbow at the young man. Please let me go. I will never tell anyone about this. Moreover, if I don't return, the police will definitely come here to investigate. The result was that the young man was still sent flying by the blonde, a foolish magical beast tamer who had perished in the secret realm. Who cares about such a trivial matter? You two should obediently become food for my magical beasts. This guy is really a lunatic. I need to find someone quickly. Van Hien thought to himself, peeking out and softly saying to the bloodthirsty hunting dog, I'll get your child out of here, then I'll call for help. You try to attract his attention, okay? Hearing this, the bloodthirsty hunting dog turned to growl at the blonde, successfully drawing his attention. Don't howl anymore. Isn't it just that I'm bringing food for you? Thinking to himself, Van Hien poked his head out and quietly said to the bloodthirsty hunting dog, I will take your child out of here, then I will call for help. Can you try to distract him? Hearing this, the bloodthirsty hunting dog turned around and growled at the blonde, successfully drawing his attention. Stop howling, it's not like I'm bringing you food or anything. The bloodthirsty hunting dog doesn't listen and only howls louder. Today you're full of energy, isn't it, because I dealt with the human in front of you while the blonde was busy talking to the bloodthirsty hunting dog. Van Hien carefully carried the extreme Korean dog and sneaked out the door, but the exit was blocked by a wall of ice, and there was also a second-level ice phantom beast guarding it. Oh, it seems we've caught a timid mouse sneaking in. The ice phantom beast froze the legs of these mice, and after the ice phantom beast controlled Van Hien, the blonde shot an arrow aimed at finishing him off, but just as the arrow was about to hit its target, it was bitten to pieces by the bloodthirsty hunting dog. Why did this thing manage to get out? Could it be that the blonde, seeing the collar had been removed, angrily shouted at Van Hien, Do you know what you just did? This dog will wipe us out. Van Hien laughed and replied, Not necessarily. The bloodthirsty hunting dog, your chance for revenge has come. The bloodthirsty hunting dog howled and charged at the blonde, who quickly stepped back and ordered the ice phantom beast to block it. Give me results! Before the ice phantom beast could do anything, it was swallowed whole by the bloodthirsty hunting dog, and with the consciousness of the ice phantom beast, the ice that restrained Van Hien's legs gradually melted away. The blonde immediately ran away, unlocked the cages of the 3 phantom beasts and ordered them, Get out here. Eliminate that dog! One of them charged forward, but was immediately struck down by the bloodthirsty hunting dog's arrow, causing the other 2 to be too scared to move. If not, I'll make your lives worse than death. The 2 phantom beasts, hearing the blonde's threat, had no choice but to risk it and charged together to attack the bloodthirsty hunting dog. Good, just keep these trash holding it off for a while. The blonde thought to himself while continuing to run. Van Hyen and the strawberry cat saw this and chased after him. Suddenly, the strawberry cat ran up and used its Mew Mew punch to knock the blonde down. Then it looked at the blonde with eyes as if to say, "Run. Why aren't you running? You made such a mess. Don't think you can escape easily," Van Hyen said. "Wait, I wasn't planning to run." The blonde intentionally backed up against the wall and slowly placed his hand on a switch. By the time Van Hyen noticed his action, it was too late. As soon as the switch was activated, a cloud of red smoke poured down from the ceiling, and immediately the eyes of the phantom beasts turned red. Van Hyen angrily grabbed the blonde by the collar and cursed, "What the hell are you doing? Are you crazy? Not only are you harming the beasts, but you'll also end up dead yourself. Do you think I'm as stupid as you?" The blonde smiled, stepped back, and pressed a button on the wall, causing a metal grate to drop down, separating him from Van Hyen. "Only you idiots will die," Van Hyen shouted loudly. The bloodthirsty hunting dog finally dealt with the two phantom beasts, but it was also injured. The situation was critical. Van Hyen carried the strawberry cat and the extreme Korean dog. He quickly left this place. Before these two also went crazy, just as he reached the foot of the stairs, he was restrained by 2 blocks of ice. The ice phantom beast was still alive, using its little strength to hold Van Hyen's legs. The bloodthirsty hunting dog charged at Van Hyen like a wild beast, and the extreme Korean dog barked, once its eyes sparkling as it looked at the bloodthirsty hunting dog, which extended its claws. Directly shattering the ice that controlled Van Hyen, could it be that it just recognized its own child? After inhaling so much pollen, just as Van Hyen was lost in thought, the strawberry cat suddenly jumped into the air, using the advanced martial god Mew Mew fist to directly destroy the smoke generator, conveniently blowing the roof off as well. The iron bars separating the blonde and Van Hyen were also blown away. How could this be? While the blonde was still in shock, Van Hyen stepped in front of him and coldly said one sentence. "It's your turn now." Wait, I know I was wrong. Please spare me, I won't dare again. Can I give you all my illusion beasts? Just spare me this once." While speaking, the blonde took out all the spheres containing illusion beasts and pushed them to Van Hyen's feet. Van Hyen looked down at him with an indifferent expression and asked about the beast tamers and the illusion beasts you killed. "You once begged for your life, right? How did you respond to them?" The blonde was left speechless. Then he shouted, "Stop! If you dare to lay a hand on me, you won't escape either. You'll definitely be thrown in jail." Van Hyen lightly exclaimed, "That sounds reasonable. But in such dangerous secret realms, it's quite normal for 1 or 2 beast tamers to lose their lives. Isn't that right?" Just as he finished speaking, the bloodthirsty hunting dog had already come up behind him, its red eyes staring intently at the blonde. Knowing he couldn't escape, the blonde gritted his teeth and yelled, "You!" Even before he could finish his scream, Van Hyen had already spoken up. "Go ahead and make your move." Immediately, the bloodthirsty hunting dog lunged forward, tearing at Van Hyen. He had no interest in witnessing that scene. He turned around and said, "Strawberry cat, let's go." Just then, the bloodthirsty hunting dog suddenly bit gently at his sleeve. Van Hyen looked at it suspiciously and asked, "What's wrong?" The bloodthirsty hunting dog gently nudged the dog Kook Han towards Van Hyen. Van Hyen was surprised and asked, "Do you want me to take care of your child?" At the same time, through the system, he also saw that it was close to death and there was no way to save it. The bloodthirsty hunting dog let out a soft whine in response. Van Hyen said, "All right, I promise you I will take care of it until it grows up." Seriously promising, Van Hyen picked up Kook Han with both hands, then decisively turned and left. Kook Han looked at the bloodthirsty hunting dog and cried out a few mournful sounds. The bloodthirsty hunting dog watched it slowly fade away, then gradually closed its eyes and collapsed on the ground. There were no signs of life. After a while, when Van Hyen and the 2 illusion beasts made it outside, he found that it was already bright. How to sign a contract with these 2 illusion beasts? There were no signs of life. After a while, when Van Hyen and the 2 mythical beasts stepped outside, they found that it was already morning. How could he make a pact with these 2 mythical beasts? I tried those methods online so many times, but it didn't work. Well then, let's put the contract issue aside for now. This kid must be tired. First, let's figure out how to evolve. That's what I was thinking. Van Hyen looked down at the extreme Korean dog in his arms, and immediately a system panel appeared showing the evolution materials of the extreme Korean dog, 3 ice crystal minerals, 10 Korean grass bones, and 1 evolution crystal. It seems that the evolution materials for the extreme Korean dog are not too hard to find, but what exactly is this cat? Quietly thinking, Van Hyen's gaze shifted to the strawberry cat walking beside the system panel. 99 ice crystal minerals, 99 fire cloud minerals, 99 lightning minerals, and 1 evolution crystal. This number is just like a display error. However, the evolution crystal only requires 1. I don't know if this is luck or misfortune. While pondering, Van Hyen suddenly noticed the conversation of 2 people nearby. "Hey, have you heard recently there have been deaths in the mine? What's so strange about that? There are plenty of beast tamers dying in the secret realm," Van Hyen thought to himself, startled by the mention of the mine area. Could it be that I should rush over to those 2 and ask, "Hello, can you tell me more about what's happening in the mine?" The 2 people looked at him for a moment, then one of them spoke up. Sure. At the same time, inside the mine, help me, help me. Amid the desperate screams of the workers, a nightmare wolf was swiftly chasing like a reaper. It took the lives of each person one by one. Not far away, a purple-haired man looked over at Wang Jianguo and laughed, saying, "Fortunately, this is the first time I didn't deal with you. Otherwise, how could I find a dog as obedient as you?" Wang Jianguo humbly bowed and smiled. "All of this is to serve you, sir." The purple-haired man replied, "You have helped me kill more than 10 miners, and now my nightmare wolf is about to level up again." "Yes," Wang Jianguo responded, "this is all part of my duty." The purple-haired man took out a sphere containing a phantom beast and said, "Here, I want to give you this. Because of your performance, the organization is giving you a phantom beast. This is an additional reward from me." Wang Jianguo excitedly asked, "Oh, sir, is this honor really for me? Could it be that I can also become a beast tamer?" "Of course. I told you the organization will not treat anyone who has made contributions unfairly." Wang Jianguo respectfully bowed and thanked, "Thank you very much, sir." "All right, take care of the bodies of the miners. Tomorrow we need to bring more people here." The next day, Van Hyen wore a coat, hunched down, and put on a mask to disguise himself as a miner, blending in with the other miners heading to the mine. Wang Jianguo had noticed him. He thought Van Hyen was a new recruit and took the initiative to approach him. "Hello, young man." Van Hyen turned around to look at him and thought to himself, "Wang Jianguo indeed." Wang Jianguo smiled and continued, "I am Wang Jianguo, the supervisor of this mining team. I apologize for bothering you today." Van Hyen replied coldly, "Uh-huh." At that moment, a miner girl named Tran Lele walked over displeased and questioned Van Hyen. "Hey, why are you being rude to Captain Wang like that?" Van Hyen looked at her in surprise and asked, "Who are you?" Tran Lele replied, "My name is Tranli. I will also be going down to the mine with Captain Wang today." Hearing this, Van Hyen suspiciously thought, "Is this girl crazy? And why is the mining team hiring child labor?" Then he kindly reminded her, "This person is underage. They can't go down to the mine." Tran Lele angrily retorted, "I am already an adult." Wang Jianguo interjected, "All right then." Wang Jianguo spoke up, "All right then. Everyone get ready to go. Let's head down to the mine." Hearing this, everyone gathered and followed Wang Jianguo while Tran Lele silently vowed to herself, "This is the mine where there have been continuous murders. I must investigate the truth behind these deaths. After that, I have to hold my head high in the team so they won't look down on me anymore." Van Hyen, walking beside her, thought to himself that this girl was also going to the mine for the first time. Her expression is too tense. It didn't take long for the group to pass through the gate and enter the mine area, returning here again. "Wang Jianguo, you better not let it be just as I think." Otherwise, Van Hyen thought as he stared at Wang Jianguo, who took out a piece of fire cloud ore. He told everyone, "What I have in my hands is fire cloud ore, which we need to mine this time. Later, we will divide into groups with at least 2 people in each group. If any accidents happen while digging, you must call for help immediately. Now everyone get to work." People began to discuss animatedly. "Laoli, let's team up." "Laolu, I'm counting on you this time." "No problem." Everyone laughed and talked, looking for partners, while only Tran Lele stood still, bowing her head and biting her lip, not saying a word. Seeing this, Van Hyen spoke up, "If no one is going with you, do you want to mine with me?" Tran Lele exclaimed, "Who said I have no one to go with? I'm perfectly fine. I think you're the one no one wants to team up with." "Well, if you don't want to, I'll find someone else," he replied. After saying that, Van Hyen turned to leave. Tran Lele hurriedly grabbed his shirt and said firmly, "Wait. All right, I see you're pitiful. This time I'll help you out, but don't drag me down, you idiot." Van Hyen turned back and asked Tran Lele, "This is your first time down the mine, right?" Tran Lele replied, "Yes, that's right, but don't worry, I'm very confident in my health." Van Hyen said, "That's not what I meant. I just wanted to remind you that it's best to stay away from Wang Jianguo. Avoid him as much as possible. Tran Lele frowned and asked, "What do you mean by that?" "Do you know something?" Van Hien said, "It's just a piece of advice. Whether you listen or not is up to you." After a while, at a spot in the mine, Tran Lele placed the fire cloud ore she had just mined onto the cart and wiped her sweat lightly with her hand. "Being a miner is much harder than I thought." Van Hien came over with a bottle of water and handed it to her, saying, "You've worked hard, you should drink." Just as he finished speaking, a sudden scream rang out, causing both of their expressions to change. Tran Lele thought, "What happened?" Van Hien thought, "Sure enough, something's wrong." Then, without hesitation, the two ran towards the direction of the scream, and miners in other areas reacted similarly. After a moment when they arrived, everyone was dumbfounded. They looked at the giant fire cloud ore in front of them and exclaimed, "A giant crystal ore, my goodness, how much is this worth? This ore is so big, we're going to get rich." The miner Lao Lu laughed proudly. "I dug this up. Later, when we split the money, I must get the largest share." A miner draped his arm over another miner's shoulder and said, "This time you're going to be rich. A crystal this big? At least it can sell for 5 million dong." The miner laughed and said, "After this, I will treat everyone to a grand feast." Then he quietly approached the giant ore, a thought forming in his mind. "How wicked all these stones belong to me. Luckily, that Beastmaster didn't come. He was preparing materials for evolving the illusion beast yesterday, so he didn't come today. Otherwise, such a large amount of ore would probably have fallen into his hands. As long as I deal with them, I can monopolize this stone. My future might even surpass that Beastmaster." At this moment, the miner walked over to Wang Jianguo and asked with a smile, "According to the rules, I get 6 out of 1 share, and the remaining 3 shares go to everyone else, right?" Hearing this, Wang Jianguo fell silent but quickly hid it and turned back to smile, saying, "That's right, just as you said." A second later, he unexpectedly pulled out a dagger and stabbed it straight into the miner's neck. The miner's eyes widened in disbelief as he looked at Wang Jianguo before collapsing to the ground. The other miners reacted only then and screamed in fear, "What happened?" Wang Jianguo's eyes were bloodshot as he looked at them and smiled menacingly, saying, "Today this stone will belong solely to me, Wang Jianguo. Who agrees, who opposes?" Standing among the miners, Wenxian frowned and thought, "Wang Jianguo, if you no longer want to be human, don't blame me." Just as he was about to act, a loud shout suddenly rang out, "Wang Jianguo!" Everyone turned to the sound and saw Tran Lele holding a gun aimed at Wang Jianguo. Wang Jianguo frowned and thought, "How did the police get mixed up in this? Could it be that my actions have been exposed?" Seeing he still held the dagger, Tran Lele shouted again, "Wang Jianguo, drop your weapon right now!" The miners cheered in joy. "So there are police here. Great, we are saved." Under the threat of the gun in Tran Lele's hand, he had no choice but to comply and drop the dagger to the ground. Tran Lele immediately spoke up to bandage the injured. "Call an ambulance!" The miner shouted clearly, then rushed to check the wounds of the miner. Wang Jianguo said, "I didn't expect you to be a police officer. This is indeed a failure." Tran Lele said, "Did you think you could do those things without anyone knowing?" Wenxian, standing to the side, frowned slightly, feeling that something was off. Wang Jianguo would definitely not easily admit defeat. Thinking this, he stared intently at Wang Jianguo and noticed that he suddenly curled his lips into a smile, sensing something ominous. Wenxian quickly shouted, "Not good, Tran Lele, get away!" Just then, something sharp suddenly shot up from the ground beneath Tran Lele, stabbing straight toward her. Luckily, thanks to Wenxian's warning, she reacted in time. She leaned back to dodge, only sustaining a small wound on her face. However, just as she was about to take further action, she was startled to find that her body couldn't move. Forcing herself to look up at what had just attacked her, she gasped silently. An illusion beast, a poisonous scorpion with dark attribute next evolution stage, King Scorpion. Reluctantly lifting her head to look at the creature that had just attacked her, she was astonished and silently exclaimed, "A venomous scorpion with dark attribute next evolution stage, King Scorpion. Basic attributes level 3. Strength 25 out of 60, agility 15 out of 70, intelligence 18 out of 60. Strong attribute dark, weak attribute light." Haha, you all underestimated me too much. Of course I was prepared beforehand. "You little bitch, you love being a spy, don't you? Today I will make sure you don't leave here intact." While laughing, Wang Jianguo walked over and snatched the gun from Tran Lele's hand. Tran Lele screamed, "Everyone run." Wang Jianguo shouted, "Stop anyone who dares to run, I will shoot immediately. I can give you a chance, just deal with this cop." "I guarantee you will survive outside." Tran Lele spoke up, "Don't trust him, there are only 3 bullets left in the gun. He can't handle everyone. As long as someone escapes and reports to the police, he will definitely be punished." Don't be naive. Who would be stupid enough to rush in and take the first bullet? Today you will be just like I was before. Choosing to deal with her to save your own lives is the nature of humanity. Just as Wang Jianguo finished speaking, he was punched by Van Hyen and flew out. Then he took off his hood and spoke, "Wang Jianguo, it's been a while. Do you remember my face?" Wang Jianguo, furious, replied, "Li Van Hyen, you are really still alive." Van Hyen frowned and asked, "Why?" "Did you predict this?" Wang Jianguo snorted and said, "That night I intended to burn your sister alive, but the next day I didn't hear any news about the fire, so I guessed you weren't dead. But you are really tough. I stabbed you 3 times and had workers hit you with shovels, yet you still survived." The miners looked at each other in confusion and whispered, "What should we do now?" Even the police can't protect themselves. That's right. We thought we were saved, but in the end it was a false alarm. Wang Jianguo turned to them and said, "I told you just deal with these 2. I will let you survive outside." The miners shouted, "He's forcing us to become his accomplices." Wang Jianguo laughed and said, "We are all in the same boat, so I don't need to deal with you anymore." "What are you hesitating for?" The miners muttered, "Damn it, it seems we have no choice." Van Hyen saw them pick up their weapons and stare at him. He calmly said, "It's fine. How you choose is your own freedom. After all, the strong are the ones who survive, but right after that." On your face, surprise was clearly visible as you saw the miners turn around and stare at the king, shouting, "Do you not want to live anymore?" The miners spoke up. "Stop talking nonsense. I'm not cowardly enough to kill a kid who hasn't even grown enough hair just to save my own skin. Kid, hurry up and take the girl away from here." "This is adult business." The king gritted his teeth and said, "If you don't want to live, then don't blame me." He then aimed his gun at the miners and shouted, "You are truly fools for not listening at this moment." A wave of icy energy shot from behind the miners straight towards the king's gun, freezing his arm and causing the gun to fall to the ground. The miners exclaimed, "What is happening?" They hurriedly turned around and saw a Korean ice dog lying on the shoulder of Van Hyen, the king of the nation, who incredulously shouted, You are a beast master." The miners joyfully exclaimed, "This kid is so young, yet he is already a beast master." "That's right, this is great. This time we will definitely be rescued." The king of the nation snorted and said, "It's just a dog and it wants to be a mythical beast. Poisonous Scorpion, go take care of these beasts." The poisonous scorpion, hearing the command, opened its mouth and sprayed venom towards the miners. Van Hyen saw this and ordered, "Ice Dog, stop that venom." The ice dog, obeying the command, also opened its mouth and unleashed ice energy, not only stopping the venom, but also sending it back towards the poisonous scorpion, which jumped to dodge. Then it used its legs to break the ground and burrowed into the miners, shouting, "That scorpion can actually drill into the ground." "Li Van Hyen, be careful down there." The king of the nation laughed loudly and said, "Li Van Hyen, if you kneel down and beg me, I might consider sparing your life." Van Hyen replied to the king, "No matter how much you beg me, I will not spare your life." The king of the nation, furious, shouted, "That ungrateful poisonous scorpion, take the life of that arrogant brat." In an instant, the poisonous scorpion suddenly lunged out from the ground near Van Hyen's feet, launching a surprise attack that caught him off guard. Fortunately, at that critical moment, the strawberry cat appeared. With one kick, it sent the poisonous scorpion crashing into the rock wall behind, before falling to the ground and seeing the poisonous scorpion lying still on the ground. The king of the nation incredulously shouted, "The strawberry cat, it can't be!" Van Hyen spoke up, "I told you. I will not spare your life." The king of the nation yelled, How do you have 2 mythical beasts?" Van Hyen did not answer. He picked up a sword and walked towards the king of the nation, shouting, "I'm sending you off." Just as Van Hyen raised the sword to strike down, Tran Lele rushed over, hugging him and saying, "Lee. Van Hyen, stop, you can't do that. Once you strike, there will be no turning back." "Let me handle it. I guarantee he will receive a fitting punishment." Van Hyen replied, "I know, get up quickly, I can barely breathe." The strawberry cat stood to the side, suddenly smirking, and the miners cheered, "Great! Finally we are saved. It seems we are really safe this time. It's just a pity about this mine." A moment later, Tran Lele handcuffed the king of the nation and sequentially looked at him and Van Hyen, saying, "All right, now you will follow me to the police station." "And you, what exactly are you planning to do? Come back with me and answer honestly." Then Tran Lele looked at the miners and said, "Everyone can leave here now." Just at that moment, the ground beneath them suddenly shook violently. Van Hyen quickly shouted a warning, "Danger! The stone walls around here have been damaged. The mine is likely to collapse. Everyone run away quickly." The miners immediately turned around and shouted to run quickly because the mine was about to collapse. "Everyone run away quickly." Tran Lele stood still, silently scolding her body for only being able to move reluctantly just now, so she still couldn't exert her strength freely. How annoying. Tran Lele then noticed a large rock falling right where she was. Fortunately, Van Hyen saw it and rushed to save her from danger. He then turned to the two strawberry cat spirit beasts and said, "You two first take her outside, I'll follow behind." The two spirit beasts responded with a sound to Van Hyen. After that, Van Hyen turned and ran inside, telling Tran Lele to hurry and go. "I will bring that Wang Jianguo outside for you," Tran Lele replied. "Okay." Just as Van Hyen had run a few steps, many large rocks fell down, completely blocking the exit behind him. Tran Lele outside shouted loudly, "Li Van Hyen, are you okay?" Van Hyen inside shouted back, "I'm fine. You hurry and go, I have a way out." Behind him, Wang Jianguo grinned and said, "Li Van Hyen, you deserve it. You put in so much effort to catch me, but in the end you'll be buried here with me." Van Hyen turned around, putting his hand into his jacket pocket while saying, "I'll say it again. I absolutely will not let you go. Not dealing with you just now was not out of mercy. It's just that there were too many eyes there, so I deliberately stayed here." When Wang Jianguo saw Van Hyen pull out a gun and aim it at him, he panicked and shouted, "What do you mean?" Van Hyen smiled and replied, "I just want to take your life." Van Hyen asked, "Wang Jianguo, the recent mining accidents were actually caused by you, right? Why did you do that?" Wang Jianguo shouted, I was forced. If I didn't help him kill others, he would expose what I did." Van Hyen asked, "Is he the beast tamer you mentioned?" Wang Jianguo replied, Yes, please spare my life, I will help you lure him out. All you need to do now is go to hell for me." After finishing his words, Van Hyen raised the gun high and fired a shot, causing a huge rock to fall right on Wang Jianguo's position. Wang Jianguo's eyes widened as he looked at the rock and shouted, "Help! Help me!" But Van Hyen had no intention of saving him. He coldly watched the large rock fall and crush him, and only then did he realize to shout for help. "Scum," he said, then turned to leave. Unbeknownst to him, a stream of purple energy escaped from Wang Jianguo's body and flew outside. Outside, everyone was anxiously moving each rock out of the way. Tran Lele called out, "Everyone dig quickly, Li Van Hyen and Wang Jianguo are still in there." At this moment, the purple energy suddenly burst out from the crack in the rock and entered the body of the strawberry cat, causing it to cry out in pain and fall to the ground. A nearby miner saw this and shouted, "Hey, that kid's spirit beast has fainted." Another miner said, "Quick, take it to a place with fresh air." A moment later, they placed the strawberry cat down in a spot far from the mine and said, "Kid, you rest here first." "Hey, that kid's magical beast has fainted," another miner said. "Quick, take it to a place with fresh air." A moment later, they placed the strawberry cat down at a spot far from the mine and said, "Kid, you rest here first. Don't worry, we will definitely rescue your master." That night at the hospital, Van Hyen, who was in a coma lying on the hospital bed, suddenly jolted awake and sat up. Looking around, Van Hyen took about 10 seconds to confirm he was in the hospital. Then he turned his gaze to the two illusion beasts, sleeping soundly at the foot of the bed. He thought to himself, those two guys. Luckily they are here. Otherwise I would really be buried alive with the king in the cave. Just at that moment, the hospital room door opened and a woman walked in speaking up. "Awake now, are we?" Van Hyen asked, "Are you a doctor?" The woman replied, "Let me introduce myself a bit. I am the vice president of the Beast Tamer Association." Van Hyen was astonished and asked, the vice president? "The vice president of the Beast Tamer Association of Tianyun City, Bai Shi, right?" Bai Shi nodded and confirmed, "Yes, that's me. You were looking for me for something." Bai Shi looked at the two illusion beasts and said, "Of course it's about these two illusion beasts. Li Van Hyen, we have investigated and found that you do not have a certificate of qualification as a beast tamer and have not registered with the Beast Tamer Association. According to regulations, these two illusion beasts will be confiscated by us." Van Hyen silently exclaimed, "No way. Without the illusion beasts, I will lose my ability to defend myself. I must keep these two little ones." Thinking of this, Van Hyen spoke up, "These two illusion beasts are mine." Bai Shi interrupted him, saying, "First, don't worry. I'm here with a proposal. We will give you the opportunity to participate in the qualification test for beast tamers. If you can pass, you can keep your illusion beasts," Van Hyen asked. "And if I don't pass," Bai Shi replied, "then you will have to until you pass." Van Hyen seriously asked, "Vice President Bai Shi, may I ask why you are giving me this opportunity?" Bai Shi replied, "I heard from the workers that during the cave-in, your illusion beasts tried their best to dig a tunnel to break through the blockage. Therefore," Bai Shi continued, "I feel that your illusion beasts are quite extraordinary. All wild illusion beasts are hostile towards humans. The only difference is the degree of hostility. Only when a beast tamer and an illusion beast sign a contract can a cooperative relationship be established with the illusion beast, which is something both sides need. In other words, without a contract, the illusion beasts have no reason to actively help humans. Therefore, I am very curious about what method you used. To make the two illusion beasts who have not yet signed a contract willing to save you? Van Hien asked. I guess I have no right or reason to refuse, right? Bai Shi smiled and said, You are very clever. It seems you will definitely become a beast tamer. Van Hien said, Compared to a beast tamer, wouldn't it be more fitting to describe me as a guinea pig? Bai Shi laughed and said, You can think whatever you want. After that, Bai Shi left the hospital room. The next morning, at the headquarters of the Beast Tamer Association, Bai Shi entered the president's office and reported to the president. Here is the list of candidates qualified to participate in this year's Beast Tamer selection exam. Please take a look. The president of the Beast Tamer Association received the file and reviewed it. When he flipped to Van Hien's file, he spoke up. Is this the child with extraordinary talent that you mentioned? Bai Shi replied, That's right, I informed him about the test time yesterday. The president of the Beast Tamer Association smiled and said, I say Zhao Bai. There's no one here, so don't be so polite. I refuse, and I also request that you, President, maintain a serious attitude during work hours. All right, then, I really have to wait a little longer, he said. So I really have to wait a little longer, he said. The president of the Beast Tamer Association continued to flip through the files and stopped at the file of a girl wearing a cap, softly saying, Who are these two really the true geniuses? Just then, his phone on the desk suddenly rang. He picked it up and saw it was a call from the laboratory. The president of the Beast Tamer Association sighed in annoyance and answered the call. The person on the phone asked if there was any news about the missing specimen. The president of the association replied, Not yet. Didn't I say I would call if there was any news? The person on the other end was silent for a moment and then said, I understand. I will wait. Then he hung up. Bai Shi spoke up. President, do you need my help to search for the specimen? The president of the association said, No need, such dangerous work should only be done by a middle-aged man like me. Just a chubby uncle like me should do it. On the other side, Van Hien had also arrived at the examination site for the Beast Tamer qualification. He looked around and quietly said, There are really a lot of people here for the inspection. Suddenly, someone called out, Li Van Hien. Van Hien turned around in surprise and found it was two of his friends. He happily shouted, Lao Cao Lao Lu. The two also cheerfully replied, It really is you, Van Hien, little lie. You actually came here. Then the two walked over, put their arms around his shoulders, and teased, Hey, kid, where have you drifted off to after graduation? When I called your family, your sister said you had gone down to the mine. Liu Hao also said so. But the three of us had agreed to become beast tamers together. At that time, I thought you had given up on our dream. Van Hien laughed and said, Something suddenly happened and I needed money, so... Liu Hao interrupted him, saying, I mean Van Hien, although not wanting to bother others is your strength. But you shouldn't treat your brothers like outsiders too much. Van Hien said, It's fine now. It's just that everything is a bit complicated, so I haven't finished explaining. But he was cut off again this time by Cao Cheng, who pointed at the two magical beasts following Van Hien and asked, Wait a minute, Van Hien, are those your two magical beasts? Have you become a beast tamer already? Van Hien replied, Well, that's partly true, but not entirely. Cao Cheng curiously asked, What do you mean by that? I see those two are always standing next to you, aren't they? How did Van Hien respond, I wonder? I don't know why this cat can't sign a contract with a phantom beast. Cao Trin asked in surprise, Huh? Is there really such a thing? Liu Hao laughed and speculated, Haha, maybe it's because the materials you bought are of too poor quality, or perhaps it's because the merchant sold you defective goods at a good price. Remembering that his bank account only had 86 yuan left. Van Hien said, Oh, if that's the case, it seems there's a possibility. Just then, an announcement rang out that the certification exam for beast tamers had begun, requesting all candidates to bring their exam tickets and enter the examination room in an orderly manner. Van Hien's two friends, full of enthusiasm, spoke up, Let's go. Chin brought along the exam ticket and entered the examination room in an orderly manner. The two friends of Van Hien, filled with enthusiasm, spoke up, Let's go. This is the moment to realize our dreams. Don't worry, we are here to fully support you, Zhao Li. Just as the exam has started, a female teacher enters the examination room. We will begin by announcing the rules. Welcome everyone to the qualification exam for beast tamers. This exam consists of 3 tests, the first being a basic knowledge test. I will present a few mythical beasts and ask everyone to write down their understanding of these creatures. The more detailed your answers, the higher your scores will be. The second test is the contract signing test. You can either prepare your own mythical beast or purchase one here to sign a contract with it. As long as the contract is successfully signed, it will be considered a pass. The final test is a combat test where you must control your mythical beast to fight against others. And those who win will be counted as successful. Those who pass all 3 tests will be awarded a Junior Beast Tamer certificate and can enjoy some privileges of being a beast tamer. Now the official exam begins. The female teacher claps her hands and 3 mythical beasts appear on the podium. Candidates, please start answering the questions based on your understanding of these 3 mythical beasts. As the candidates begin to answer, one of them sighs after reading the questions. Why are the exam questions so difficult this year? Last year's exam didn't have questions like this. It's over, I can't do this. Van Hien looks at the 3 detailed descriptions of the mythical beasts appearing before him and thinks to himself that this is simply an open exam. What about Lao Cao and Lao Lu? They probably have no issues at all. Van Hien turns his head and notices the expressions of his 2 comrades clearly showing 2 words. Give up. So he whispers to them, you 2 just write what I write. Van Hien, it's really you, I knew it. We are the best of brothers. 2 hours later, the female teacher enters the room to announce the results. Those whose names I call next can stay and continue the test. Those not called should keep trying next year. Zhang Sanguo, Li Wang Wu, Liu Hao, and Cao Cheng. Upon hearing their names, Liu Hao and Cao Cheng jump up joyfully, saying, Awesome Van Hien. From now on, you are my adoptive father. That's right, we are willing to be your adopted sons. Lita Yiboy Ofisa Kalo, Liu Dan, and Hoa Liat, all of you have passed. This result makes Liu Hao and Cao Cheng feel puzzled. Why isn't our adoptive father's name on the list? That's right, we both passed. How come our adoptive father didn't? What's going on? Could it be that the system's answers are incorrect? But Lao Cao and Lao Lu both passed right. Thinking of this, Van Hien asks both of them, You both copied my answers correctly, right? How could I copy everything? I deliberately wrote part of it differently to make my answer different from my adoptive father's. That's right. This basic skill is not an issue for us. You must be very familiar with this game. Could it be that their corrections are the correct answers? Just as Van Hien is confused, the female teacher speaks up. I also want to specifically mention that 2 people achieved perfect scores in this exam. They are respectively Li Van Hien and Ko Sa. During lunchtime at the Beast Tamer Qualification Certification venue, Van Hien is eating when he hears other candidates discussing him. Have you seen that guy achieved a perfect score in the exam? Oh, so it's him. Moreover, I heard this seems to be his first time taking the exam. Even his 2 friends are loudly making a fuss. Van Hien, you little brat. In an instant, you've become the center of attention. Moreover, I've heard that this seems to be the first time he is taking an exam. Even his 2 friends are making a loud fuss about it. Van Hien, you little brat, look at you. In an instant, he has become the center of attention. Ha, that's right, my big brother, I am simply a genius. Van Hien softly said, What are you talking about? It's just luck. Cao Trin laughed and said, What are you talking about? Luck is also a kind of strength. Liu Hao also laughed loudly, patted Van Hien on the back and said, That's right, why are you still pretending to be modest at this moment? A girl wearing a baseball cap walked up to their table and spoke, You are Li Van Hien. Van Hien looked at her suspiciously and the girl continued, I am Kelsa. Hearing this, Van Hien immediately recognized her. This girl in front of him was also a student who scored full marks like him. He asked, Is there something you want? Kelsa said, Although you also scored perfect like me, I want to remind you of something. I got 100 points because the test was only 100 points while you got 100 points because you could only achieve 100 points. Do you understand? Liu Hao, hearing this, got angry and stood up saying, Ha, you look down on my big brother, huh, you foolish girl? Are you trying to challenge me? Kelsa replied, People like you who only know how to rely on others to get by should step aside. Don't let me expose you. Liu Hao was sweating and said, If you want to go, then go. As for Van Hien, his attention was focused on the mythical beast at Kelsa's feet. Ice Serpent, Ice Attribute, next evolutionary stage, Ice Giant Serpent, basic attributes, level 25 out of 30, strength 55 out of 60, intelligence 60 out of 60. Strong attribute, Ice, weak attribute, Fire, abnormal state, Mind Corrosion. After reading the system panel, Van Hien stood up and seriously said to Kelsa, Kelsa, right. I also have something to remind you. Your mythical beast seems a bit unusual. I advise you to check it again before signing the contract. Kelsa scoffed. Do you think this can affect me? I know very well the physical condition of my mythical beast, while you only know how to use those underhanded tricks. It's better for you to pray that you don't encounter me in the duel competition. Otherwise, I will humiliate you terribly." After saying this, Kelsa turned and left. Not long after, Kelsa returned to her room and let out a sigh, using both hands to pat her face, silently cheering herself on. "Kelsa, you can do it! Don't lose to someone like that! You are the best! You can only be number one!" Then she bent down to pat the ice serpent and smiled, saying, "Jenna Ford, let's do our best this afternoon." She didn't notice that for a moment a red glint flashed in the eyes of the ice serpent and then disappeared. In the afternoon, the second examination took place. Candidate Zhang San and his father successfully signed the contract. Hearing the examiner announce it, Zhang San hugged his mythical beast and joyfully shouted, "Awesome, I have become a beastmaster, ha ha." Van Hyen's two friends softly said, "It seems this second round of the exam is simply a free gift, right?" "That's right, after all, no fool would bring an unruly mythical beast to the exam." Behind them, Van Hyen had some doubts as he looked down at the strawberry cat and whispered, "Did you hear anything?" "Don't embarrass me," the strawberry cat said, giving Van Hyen a disdainful glance. At this moment, the examiner called out, "Next, Lee Van Hyen." His two friends immediately cheered him on. "Finally, it's your turn, Big Brother. Big Brother, let us mortals broaden our horizons." Van Hyen had a gloomy expression as he walked to the center of the arena and stood opposite the strawberry cat. "Now I can only rely on you," he silently prayed. Van Hyen's expression turned serious as he shouted, "All right, let's begin!" Immediately, a large golden formation appeared on the ground beneath Van Hyen and the strawberry cat. Seeing this, the strawberry cat was startled and exclaimed. Then it punched the ground with great force, causing the earth to crack into small fissures, and the formation disappeared without a trace. The two friends outside were petrified at the scene and shouted, "Big Brother, what is going on?" Immediately, a large golden formation appeared on the ground beneath Van Hyen and the strawberry cat. Seeing this, the strawberry cat was startled and let out a cry. Then it slammed its paw down hard on the ground, causing the earth to crack into small fissures, and the formation disappeared without a trace. The two friends outside were petrified at the scene, exclaiming, "Big Brother, what is happening?" Van Hyen's mouth twitched slightly as he silently lamented, "I knew it." The other candidates treated this as a joke, starting to chatter and laugh. Could it really be that lucky to get a perfect score? "I've never heard of anyone failing this stage of the Beastmaster exam. This is practically making history, right? Ha ha!" The examiner opened her mouth to ask the student, Van Hyen, "Do you want to switch to another illusion beast? Or should we continue trying?" "No need, just keep going," she said. Van Hyen then looked at the mission board of the system, signing a contract with the strawberry cat, even though the success rate for signing a contract with a dog was extremely high. Clearly higher, but this time there was also the Supreme Contract Formation from the Beastmaster Association, so there wouldn't be a better opportunity than this. Today he had to sign a contract with it no matter what. Then let's switch to a newer way of signing contracts. Thinking this, Van Hyen continued to attempt signing the contract with Lee Van Hyen, but failed. "Please try again, contract signing failed." "Please try again, contract signing failed." Failed. The number of failures was matched by the examiner announcing them, and the surrounding candidates were already laughing out loud. "Ha ha, I'm dying of laughter." Even the strawberry cat didn't want to sign a contract. No wonder it was lucky to get a perfect score. But this result was too impressive. In the arena, Van Hyen felt both defeated and exhausted, collapsing to the ground, panting heavily. At this moment, Kyo-sa came over and spoke up. "I told you so. You getting 100 points was just luck. Step aside, let me show you what a genius is." Then she looked at the examiner politely and said, "Excuse me, can I start signing the contract now?" The examiner sighed in relief and replied, "All right then, Kyo-sa, please begin signing the contract." Kyo-sa didn't say a word and started to sign the contract with the patterned ice snake. The process went very smoothly until the patterned ice snake emitted waves of black energy and its eyes turned blood red. Seeing this, Kyo-sa was terrified and shouted, "What the heck?" Suddenly, in the terrified eyes of the candidates, the patterned ice snake went berserk and charged at the female examiner, who seemed unable to react in time. "Just stand there." At that critical moment, a loud shout rang out. "Watch out!" Van Hyen rushed over in time to grab the female examiner and rolled to the side to avoid it, silently cursing that stupid girl in his heart. I told her to check again. As for the other candidates, seeing the illusion beast attacking a person, they were all frightened and turned to flee, screaming, "Could it be that the illusion beast has lost control? Help! Everyone run!" Kyosa had now regained her composure and worriedly ran towards the patterned ice snake, shouting, "Bang, bang, what are you doing?" Van Hyen rushed over and grabbed her wrist, advising, "Don't go over there. Right now, your illusion beast is extremely dangerous." Kyosa angrily yanked her hand away and shouted, "Let me go, Bang Bang will absolutely not hurt anyone." Then she looked at the patterned ice snake and gently said, "Bang Bang, it's me, I'm here, Bang Bang, calm down and come here." Hearing this, the patterned ice snake looked at her and slowly crawled closer. Seeing this, Kyosa happily exclaimed, "Good job, Bang Bang, I knew you would listen to me." However, just as she finished speaking, the patterned ice snake swung its tail and sent her flying backward, not stopping there. The patterned python rushed forward, opening its mouth to bite down, and seeing this, Kelsa felt sad and thought, "Why is Bang Bang like this? Am I really going to have to leave this place?" Images from her childhood suddenly flashed in her mind. "Kyo-sa, can you hear me? Kyo-sa, you need to learn more from your brother." Hearing her parents speak, she saw the pride in their eyes as they looked at her brother. Kyo-sa, feeling unhappy, spoke up. "I don't want to change the scene," as her mother pointed to her brother playing with the fantasy beast. Then she looked at Kelsa and said, "Look at your brother, isn't he very talented? You need to work hard too, okay?" In that moment, Kelsa, as a child, had a thought arise. Every day it's just brother, brother, brother. Isn't it just training fantasy beasts? I can do it too. "I will definitely be stronger than you." Kyo-se, covered in dirt, shouted at the patterned python, "Faster now! The patterned python needs to go faster. Is it possible that you can only do this much?" When the patterned python was so tired that it lowered its head, Kyo-sa still shouted loudly, urging the patterned python not to rest and to get up immediately. Hearing this, the patterned python could only continue training. Kyo-sa ran alongside and shouted, "Good, you need to go a little faster, come on." Remembering this, Kyo-sa softly said, "I'm sorry, I don't want to confront you, Bang Bang. You must really hate me, right?" After that, she closed her eyes and did not resist the approaching bite of the patterned python at that moment. The strawberry cat suddenly appeared and punched the patterned python away. Van Hyen also appeared beside Kelsa, shouting, "What are you still doing there? Hurry and get out of there!" Kelsa looked at him in surprise and asked Van Hyen, "Why are you still here?" Van Hyen didn't have time to pay attention to her because he saw the patterned python launching an attack. It swept its tail towards the strawberry cat, and he immediately shouted to the strawberry cat, "Strawberry cat, be careful and dodge." The strawberry cat shouted in response and rushed towards the patterned python. Van Hyen shouted again, "Get down and dodge." Hearing this, the strawberry cat quickly crouched down to avoid the sweep of the patterned python's tail. Van Hyen then ordered, "Now's a good chance, strawberry cat, hit it hard." The strawberry cat immediately followed the order successfully. It hit the weak spot of the patterned python and quickly backed away, engaging in a close combat. On the side, Kyo-sa thought to herself in confusion, "Why is this happening? Didn't they not have a contract yet? Why is that cat following his orders?" At this moment, two men in suits ran over shouting, "Miss Kim Thoa, we received a report to assist student Van Hyen. Thank you for buying time. We'll take care of the rest." Then these two men took out spheres containing fantasy beasts and said, "Quickly eliminate this patterned python as soon as possible. Get ready to act. Student Kelsa, later the teacher will exchange a different fantasy beast for you." Kelsa anxiously shouted, "No, no, don't hurt Bang Bang. It's not in Bang Bang's nature." I believe there must be some other reason why he interrupted and shouted at the person in the suit. When the beast is in a frenzied state, no one can ensure safety while controlling it. Van Hyen suddenly shouted, "If you can't help get out of the way, let me handle the beast. It is currently in immense pain, yet you treat it like a mere tool, wanting to eliminate it without a second thought. Do you even consider it a living creature?" Then he turned to Kyo-sa and said, "Don't worry, I will do my best to stop the ice serpent." The man in the suit angrily scolded Van Hyen, "You little brat, you can't even form a contract with a single beast. So how can you have the right to speak here?" Van Hyen ignored him and turned to Strawberry Cat, shouting, "Strawberry Cat, I believe you also want to save it. If you feel the same way I do, then don't refuse my contract anymore. Do you understand?" Hearing this, Strawberry Cat seemed to think for a moment, and then a golden light emanated from both it and Van Hyen, signifying the contract formation. The two men in suits gasped, exclaiming, "No, it can't be. In the current situation, how could a contract be formed?" Very soon the contract was successful. Strawberry Cat immediately took a stance and looked towards the ice serpent. The ice serpent roared and charged at Strawberry Cat, but it was easily knocked away. A moment later in the office, Baisha asked sternly, "What exactly is going on?" The man in the suit handed over a file saying, "The beast of Kelsa went berserk after forming the contract. All detailed information is in this report, but the cause is still under investigation." How should we handle it in the end? It was this student who commanded the beast to defeat the out-of-control ice serpent. What about Kelsa? Has she escaped danger? Yes, she is fine, the man in the suit replied. Why did Kelsa's beast suddenly go out of control? Could it be related to the escaping beast? Baishur thought for a moment and then said to the man in the suit, I understand now. You can leave first. I have something to discuss with that kid. To be kept by the vice president for a private conversation, this kid is about to take a big step forward. If I had known this earlier, I wouldn't have offended him. The man in the suit sighed and quickly left. As soon as the door closed, Baishur left his seat and walked up to Van Hyen, saying, You really surprise me every time. Considering your performance in the exam, granting you the qualification of a junior beastmaster seems too low, right? Van Hyen shyly scratched his head and replied, It was just luck. Don't be so modest. In such a chaotic situation, you maintained your composure and solved the difficulties. It's not just luck that can achieve that. Baishur handed a piece of paper to Van Hyen, saying, This is the highest qualification certificate I can grant you. You can go further. You need to go to a higher place to take the exam. However, with your ability, I believe that in the near future you can consider participating in the higher-level Beastmaster exam. Van Hyen happily accepted the certificate. He couldn't stop exclaiming, Don't make so much noise. If you have officially become a Beastmaster, then I have an important mission for you. The scene shifts to somewhere else. A group of people is frantically smashing everything inside the room. Hurry up. We absolutely cannot let anyone find any clues. Destroy everything. The leader urges his subordinates, secretly cursing his beast for not dying sooner. If he had known, he would have poisoned it more. And that Beastmaster of the Strawberry Cat, who is he that he can control the pattern giant snake and lose control as well? If I had known, I wouldn't have gotten involved in this matter. Boss, everything that can be smashed has been smashed clean. Just as the group was about to retreat, a voice rang out, Don't leave so quickly. The group was initially a bit startled, but it was only a moment. Then one of them pulled out a gun and fired continuously at the mysterious figure. The result was that a slight injury left everyone in shock. How could the bullets be like this? That guy isn't human. He's just wearing a bulletproof vest to look like a god or a ghost. Saying that, one guy with a stick rushed forward intending to hit the mysterious figure. But he was blocked by the man's hand, who replied wrong, and at that moment everyone noticed a gigantic dark-type beast behind him. The group was now terrified and knelt down begging, Please spare our lives, big brother. Whatever you want, just say it. We will absolutely obey. The mysterious figure put his hands in his pockets and coldly asked, Who directed you? The leader hesitated. Big brother, if I say it, I will definitely be done for. If you are dealt with, then I won't pressure you anymore. Just right, I have a specialty in getting answers from the mouths of the deceased. Beretta, go ahead. His beast roared in response and launched an attack that sent the group flying. Once everything was settled, the mysterious figure approached, placed his hand on the leader's head, and used magic to view his memories, seeing an image of a young man with blonde hair handing a stack of money to this group. Then he ordered them to create chaos during the Beastmaster competition, the bigger the better. After catching you, the mysterious figure said he returned to the main character after receiving the mission. Van Hyen, feeling somewhat anxious, said, Vice President Bai, is this mission a bit too difficult for me? No need to worry if you are already a mid-level Beastmaster, then it's time for a mid-level Beastmaster like you to know about some matters that only mid-level Beastmasters can know, Baishur suddenly asked Li Van Hyen. In the previous world, everyone dreamed of becoming rich, but in the current world, everyone dreams of becoming a Beastmaster. Do you know why that is? Because Beastmasters have status and impressive beasts, Van Hyen replied casually. Because to become a mid-level Beastmaster, the manifestation of the old world rules no longer exists for me. For example, no matter how strong a person is, they cannot withstand bullets. This is a common truth, Van Hyen said, then paused. Could it be that mid-level Beastmasters can withstand bullets? Bai Shi replied, Mid-level Beastmasters can withstand bullets through some special ritual. They can also let their beasts take damage for them. Speaking of soul connection, that is a secret technique of Beastmasters that only mid-level Beastmasters can cultivate. It can also allow the Phantom Beast to take damage for you. Speaking of soul connection, that is a secret technique for Beast Tamers that only intermediate-level Beast Tamers can cultivate. The Beast Tamer will connect with the spirit of the beast, and as long as this secret technique is in effect, all damage inflicted on the Beast Tamer will be transferred to the beast's owner. As long as one side does not die, the other side will not die regardless of how much damage they endure transitioning to a bustling street. A few girls looked towards a young man walking with a beast, praising him for being so young yet already a beast tamer. The young man, hearing this, puffed up his chest and smiled confidently. Just then, another person approached and asked if his illusion beast was unharmed. He quickly stood up and respectfully addressed the other person. "Yes, your illusion beast is right here." Upon hearing this, the other person turned and walked away. He left behind a remark, "It seems you are quite suited for the job of walking dogs." And the girls who had just praised him rolled their eyes in disdain because that guy was just a dog walker. However, that guy was not embarrassed at all and even sneered at the group of losers. "What's wrong with helping the beast tamer walk dogs? If walking dogs also meant walking a few girls, that would be fantastic." At that moment, everyone started discussing another person, drawing the young man's attention to none other than Lee Van Hyen. The young man looked at him with jealousy, thinking to himself, "Just by looking, you can tell he's in the same profession." Van Hyen, unfazed by the gazes of others, calmly told the strawberry cat to sit down on a chair at the cafe. The young man then approached and asked sarcastically, "Are you also a dog walker? How much do you charge for this one?" Van Hyen frowned and asked back, "What do you mean by this? It's a cat, can't you see?" The young man stubbornly replied, "Don't you understand? It turns out that the newcomers will temporarily take care of the beasts for the beast tamer, which is why it's called walking dogs." Van Hyen was taken aback and replied, "No need. If I need it later, I will look for you." The young man continued to mock him, pretending to be a beast tamer. "This is something I've grown tired of. Everyone understands that at our age we cannot be true beast tamers, so don't hide it from me." Meanwhile, a car sped towards the two of them with Bok Thach sitting in the car asking Lee Van Hyen if he had been waiting long. "I have many things to handle, so it took a while." She casually continued, "Please, our middle-level beast tamer, I hope you won't mind." Van Hyen quickly waved it off so others wouldn't notice. "Vice President Bok, please don't joke with me." After getting into the car, she handed him a stack of papers and informed him that these were the details of the mission. "I mentioned this to you last time. Once completed, take your time reading it at home." After hearing this, Van Hyen agreed. Then, without hesitation, Bok Thach stepped on the gas and drove off, and the car gradually moved away amidst the curiosity of the dog walker. The girls chatting couldn't help but buzz because Van Hyen was a middle-level beast tamer, while the young man was sweating profusely for having offended him. Transitioning to in front of a very luxurious office building as soon as they entered the elevator, Bok Thach explained, "I personally brought you to the training center mainly because I was afraid they would make things difficult for you when you come for the first time." Van Hyen, hearing this, couldn't help but wonder, "Will they make things difficult for me?" Bok Thach calmly replied, "This kind of problem shouldn't occur. After all, the Beast Tamer Training Office is a subsidiary of our Beast Tamer Association. The training of beast tamers is mainly because I fear they will cause you trouble when you come for the first time." Van Hyen wondered, "Will they make things difficult for me?" Bai Shi replied nonchalantly, "This kind of problem shouldn't occur. After all, the Beast Tamer Training Office is a subsidiary of our Beast Tamer Association. But 3 years ago, to enhance the overall strength of the Beastmaster Association, the association hired a high-level Beastmaster to serve as the director here. However, this high-level Beastmaster has a very peculiar personality." She continued while pressing the elevator button that if he was in a good mood, he would be willing to teach any Beastmaster at any level, but if he was unhappy, no matter how strong the Beastmaster was, he would kick them out. Hearing this, Van Hyen was confused and asked if such a thing really existed. Bok Thach did not hesitate to recount that in the past 6 months they had personally brought Beastmasters who had passed the exam here to study, hoping to improve the passing rate a little. After all, the passing rate of Beastmasters in our city has always been the lowest since this high-level Beastmaster arrived. Because of this, the president could not request additional funding from the headquarters. After a while, the elevator arrived at the destination, and Kelsa and Jennifer had been waiting for them there. Then she glanced at Van Hyen and asked if Bok Thach came to pick him up. Sure enough, he also passed right. Zephyr came to lead Van Hyen, so he happily asked back, "So quickly you have recovered." After a while, Kelsa pulled him back and exclaimed, "Zephyr, he is our enemy. Lee Van Hyen, listen to me. Although you saved me, I will definitely surpass you in the future." Van Hyen could only respond helplessly with an indifferent expression, "I know." Bok Thach immediately stopped him and said, "All right. Don't waste any more time. Go in and meet Master Fan." Upon entering the room, Master Fan had a disdainful tone. "A mid-level Beastmaster, I think you must have gone through the back door to get the certificate." Hearing this, Van Hyen immediately questioned Master Fan. "What do you mean by that?" He did not hesitate to reply, "What do I mean? I think you became a Beastmaster through connections." Then he pointed directly at Van Hyen and shouted, "Unless you can prove to me that you have real skills." At this moment, Bok Thach spoke up. "Master Fan, didn't you see a few days ago at the Beastmaster exam? At that time, student Lee Van Hyen solved the crisis himself." Master Fan coldly responded, "Who knows if you staged a video? Moreover, subduing a mad-patterned ice snake isn't that the most basic ability of a Beastmaster?" He continued sternly, "You two kids, if you want to train, you must pass the test to prove yourselves. It's not through connections. Do you two have the guts to participate in the test?" Kelsa lost her composure and shouted, "What right do you have to say we cheated? We were the most outstanding in the official Beastmaster exam. On what basis do you say we can't?" Master Fan replied in a condescending tone, "Because I am the director of the Beastmaster training office." Only then did Van Hyen agree to the conditions he proposed. He bluntly asked, "So what do we need to do?" Upon hearing this, Master Fan smiled brightly and made a statement. "Then you two will have to face this." Looking in the direction he pointed, there was a fierce-looking illusion beast, but it was covered in wounds. Kelsa saw this and shouted loudly, "Why is this illusion beast so severely injured? What kind of person could do such a heartless thing? With such a lovely illusion beast as the Fireflame Fox?" Master Fan frowned and replied, "The ones who did this to the Fireflame Fox are you Beastmasters." Hearing this, Kelsa panicked and asked, "What do you mean?" He casually replied, "You came to learn the soul-linking secret technique of the Beastmaster, right? When you finish learning this secret technique, you will start sending the Beastmasters to undertake dangerous missions, which is equivalent to forcing the illusion beasts to endure the damage that you should bear." Master Fan frowned and replied, "Those who did this to the Fireflame Lake are you beast tamers?" Hearing this, Kelsa panicked and asked, "What do you mean?" He simply replied, "You came to learn the secret technique of soul connection from beast tamers, right? When you finish learning this technique, you will start sending your phantom beasts to carry out dangerous missions, which is equivalent to having the phantom beasts endure the damage that you should be taking. When these mythical beasts reach their limit, you will abandon them and replace them with stronger mythical beasts." And Master Fan then asked them if they dared to face the heavily injured Fireflame Fox in front of them. "No, right now it is very hostile towards humans. If you are not confident, then go home and play family games with your mythical beasts." After Master Fan finished speaking, it seemed that Van Hyen realized something from the Fireflame Fox. The system displayed its stats, which looked quite strong. After seeing the stats, Van Hyen couldn't help but wonder about the line about poison, which he could understand. But what does mutating mean? After thinking, he turned to ask Master Fan if he just fed the Fireflame Fox something. Hearing that, he couldn't help but wonder why the boy knew. He angrily shouted, "Don't talk too much, just tell me quickly. If not, the Fireflame Fox will be in danger of losing its life." After he spoke, Master Fan stammered in response, "Just now I fed it a fire dragon fruit to supplement its nutrition. How could it be life-threatening?" With the answer, Van Hyen pondered. The fire dragon fruit is indeed commonly used to raise fire-type mythical beasts. But why did this Fireflame Fox show a rejection reaction? So he asked Master Fan about the wound of this Fireflame beast. Is it due to ice-type damage? He was very surprised that the boy knew this and said, "But I waited for its ice-type wound to heal before feeding it." After hearing that, Van Hyen fell into deep thought. It was no longer related to the ice type, but the rejection reaction appeared, so the main issue was its poisoned state. After thinking, he asserted that it must have been hit by both ice-type and poison-type attacks simultaneously due to the interaction of these two attributes. Therefore, the poison in its body is still spreading along with the ice attribute. Master Fan, upon hearing this, looked extremely panicked because he had never seen this situation before. Van Hyen interjected, "But for now, that is the most reasonable conclusion." After realizing everything, Van Hyen asked if the system had a way to save it. The system then provided a list of necessary materials to save it. Van Hyen spoke up and told Master Fan that if he wanted to save this Fireflame Fox, he should prepare those materials. Hearing that, he hurriedly asked, "Do you really have a way to treat this mythical beast?" Van Hyen looked at the Fireflame Fox, his voice serious. "No matter what, I will definitely save you." After that, he went into the kitchen and chopped up some kind of medicine. Master Fan and Kyo Sa watched from a distance, constantly buzzing as he treated the beast as if he were cooking. After a while, he completed it and brought out a plate of medicine. It looked quite horrifying. The two of them were extremely confused and worried when they saw the plate of medicine he brought out. Van Hyen ignored them and directly brought it to the Fireflame Fox. Seeing it hesitate, he reassured it. "After all, you are already like this. You might as well trust me this time. Isn't that right?" An hour later, the Fireflame Fox was continuously vomiting. Seeing this, Master Fan angrily shouted, "This kid has been vomiting for an hour? I see it is in even more danger." Van Hyen confidently replied, "I have checked carefully, there is no problem." Master Fan was extremely anxious and was about to shout something when suddenly, a burst of flames erupted behind him. Sensing it, he quickly turned around to see what was happening. At this moment, the fire flame fox had recovered and even evolved. Seeing this, Van Hyen's expression was extremely confident. He stood up and exclaimed, "Welcome to your new life." And at this moment, it had evolved and transformed into a firebone beast. Seeing this, Master Fan's expression could not be more astonished, while Van Hyen gently approached and congratulated it. Having recovered his health, he suddenly turned to Master Fan and asked if he had successfully saved the fire flame beast. So can this be considered passing the test? After hearing this, Master Fan felt extremely confused, yet he still paid attention to the matter of the test. Treating illnesses while causing the evolution of high-level beasts like this is extremely hard to come by, he thought to himself, feeling embarrassed, and said that if he had passed the test, then of course I will impart the secret technique to you, but I must remind you of one thing. If you dare to take advantage of being able to heal beasts to intentionally harm them, then I will definitely not spare you. After you confirm that you understand, Master Fan said. Then I won't delay any longer. Let's go. I will teach you the secret technique. Van Hyen, who was following along, suddenly stopped, realizing that the firebone beast was following him as if it had something to say. Van Hyen was unable to withstand the firebone beast licking his cheek and burst out laughing. Seeing Van Hyen being able to tame it, Kyo-sa was astonished. Master Fan also widened his eyes in disbelief when he saw the firebone beast actively approaching the human. On the other side, Lee Van Hyen stood up straight and looked at it, saying, "Now you're fine. Then we will meet again in the future, okay?" Hearing this, the firebone beast drooped its head and made a few whimpering sounds as if it were acting spoiled. Suddenly, he received a painful punch straight down from Master Fan, who angrily scolded Van Hyen, who was holding his head. This stupid name. The firebone beast wants to follow you. Don't you realize that? He rubbed its head and explained that his family could not afford to raise it right now, and moreover, he hadn't received the consent of the beast tamer before. Master Fan immediately darkened and waved it away. That beast has caused the firebone beast to suffer such a serious injury. He had expelled him from the Beast Tamer Association, so Van Hyen didn't need to worry anymore. Saying this, Master Fan turned to contemplate the strawberry cat and suggested that he give it leftover food, to be able to feed both the firebone beast and the strawberry cat. Upon hearing this, the strawberry cat immediately fluffed up its fur and howled loudly in protest. Lee Van Hyen felt awkward mentioning that he also had a very cold dog at home. Master Fan remained steadfast, not allowing him to disappoint the firebone beast, and suggested that Van Hyen help him treat the injured beasts every week and receive payment. As soon as he finished speaking, his eyes lit up with excitement. That night, in a high-rise apartment with only a few rooms still lit, Bai Shi sat on the sofa, angrily shouting into the phone at Minister Liu. "What you said before is completely different. No matter how talented Lee Van Hyen and Kyo-sa are, they cannot participate in military operations. Moreover, didn't the military previously say that they only needed to observe from a distance?" Faced with her questioning, the other person could only temporarily calm her down, explaining that the military had to do so. Since the appearance of the beasts, all the rules of this world have been completely overturned. Overnight, every country for its own purposes has been capturing, training, and hybridizing increasingly powerful beasts day and night. They are still temporarily at the forefront, so they can ensure safety, but the current situation is very urgent. If they are surpassed by others and cannot make their own decisions, then it is impossible to predict what will happen. Having said this, Minister Liu continued to reassure her, promising to do his utmost to ensure the safety of the students, on the condition that they also have to do what they should do. After hearing this, Bai Shi frowned tightly and replied that she understood. The next morning, quite a few beast tamers led their beasts with them. If they are surpassed by others and cannot make their own decisions, then it is impossible to predict what will happen. Speaking of this, Minister Liu continued to reassure, promising to do his utmost to ensure the safety of the students, on the condition that they must also do what they are supposed to do. After hearing this, Bai Shi frowned tightly and replied, "I understand." The next morning, quite a few beast tamers brought their phantom beasts with them. The gathering on a vast piece of land, Van Hyen was also among them, observing around him. These people truly deserve to be called genius beast tamers. Selected from across the province, Van Hyen couldn't help but be amazed to see that everyone had 2 illusion beasts, each of which was at least a level 2 illusion beast. Suddenly, a military vehicle drove up to them. Immediately, there were sounds of admiration as they got to see a military vehicle in real life. The door opened and a pair of legs in military boots stepped out, revealing a man wearing sunglasses. His serious face became even colder, yet the beast tamers remained very confident, believing there was nothing surprising. The instructor was just a bit stronger than them. As the instructor approached, the two people who were discussing immediately noticed something. It was clear that the sunglasses couldn't hide everything. A glint of killing intent flashed in his eyes, causing the two beast tamers to tremble involuntarily, not understanding why their bodies were unable to control themselves. They were shaking uncontrollably while Van Hyen remained coldly silent, staring at the instructor. This kind of killing intent, he quickly deduced. He was trying to test the people here. The instructor observed the reactions of those around him with interest and smirked. It seemed that this year's group wasn't entirely useless after all. Thinking this, he loudly addressed them. First of all, to be able to get here, I must commend your courage, the instructor announced their mission upon arrival. It was to assist the military in exterminating an extremely powerful illusion beast, and its strength must be at least level 3 or higher. As he said this, he lowered his voice to prevent them from seeing the illusion beast. If you mess up, you'll be in big trouble, he said. I will conduct training for you in a short time. The two beast tamers who had just been trembling immediately reacted, feeling that they were being looked down upon excessively. The instructor was not surprised by this attitude. If you two are so confident, then let's start with you. With that, the two immediately threw out their illusion beast orbs, determined to showcase their strength. Two illusion beasts, the venomous fang and the fire-horned beast, appeared at their command. Fierce and valiant, the instructor merely coldly roared 3 words, Golden Mao Beast. And almost immediately the military vehicle was shattered by something bright from within. The Golden Mao Beast burst out, thrashing its tail and growling, ready for battle. In the blink of an eye, it had knocked the fire-horned beast aside, then leaped in front of the venomous fang. Its thunderous roar left the two proud beast tamers petrified. They couldn't believe their eyes. The fire-horned beast had been defeated in an instant, and the other beast tamers watching were also in shock. Van Hyen felt tense and frowned. Indeed, the instructor's illusion beast was a level 3 Golden Mao Beast. The instructor raised his voice. This monster is merely the weakest danger you will face in the future. Therefore, you should not think that you will easily pass the military's test. He then issued a warning to those who lacked the courage to die on the battlefield. Leave here immediately. The military does not need cowards. After hearing this, a few people immediately became flustered and wanted to withdraw right away. When some left, others followed suit. Only Van Hyen remained standing there. Nevertheless, he still had a hint of worry on his face. He recalled what Bai Thach had once advised. This mission was very dangerous, but the military had technology that could help his sister stand up again. Do you want to test your strength? Van Hyen, determined to pass the military's test, suddenly realized he had a sticky situation, so he asked her if there was any problem with staying behind. What does the question mean, huh? Are you doubting my abilities? Van Hyen awkwardly explained that wasn't the point. Your mythical beast was injured not long ago. If you participate in such intense training, will it create hostility towards you? Kelsa calmly replied, Xenophon listens to me the most. She even teased that no one is worse than you when it comes to hostility. After a moment of noise, the instructor also spoke up to praise those who remained and explained the training plan for the next few days. He added that all of you are elite members, so I probably don't need to teach everyone about commanding mythical beasts anymore. Starting today, I will teach you how to better coordinate with others to achieve mission objectives. The instructor observed and stated that there are 12 of us here. So you will be divided into teams of 3, totaling 4 groups. If you can't choose your teams, I will arrange them now. Start the team formation time for those around Van Hyen. Quickly, teams were formed while he stood there thinking that he didn't seem to know anyone here. At that moment, 2 young men approached to invite Kelsa to form a team. But she coldly turned away and sarcastically replied, Sorry, I'm not interested in trash. The young man, angry, sent a lightning mouse to attack her, but a cold blue light shot back. Immediately, the lightning mouse was frozen and unable to move. Seeing this, the guy could only sit there helplessly calling for the lightning mouse to get up. Kelsa triumphantly walked over to Van Hyen and spoke up. Thinking about how he had helped her, she said, If you bow your head and ask me, I will join your team. Van Hyen, still stunned, had another person come over to greet him. She introduced herself as Park Ji-hyo and wanted to join his team. Seeing such a beautiful girl, Van Hyen blushed and stammered, asking her why she wanted to join his team. She seriously answered, Because earlier when the instructor released the Golden Lion to fight, even though you were very close, you weren't scared at all and remained strangely calm. Hearing that, Van Hyen chuckled, saying, My mythical beast is just this strawberry cat. Don't you notice? He awkwardly added, I'm afraid you'll laugh at me. My cat isn't very obedient, Ji-hyun replied. It's okay. Mythical beasts can become stronger through evolution, but humans cannot. You're right. She calmly continued, "If you have already been honest about your mythical beast situation, then I will also show you mine." After that, she summoned it at Ji-hyun's command. Upon seeing its stats, Van Hyen was stunned. It was actually a second-tier mythical beast. Ji-hyun, still with the same expression, approached and asked, "Seeing your reaction, I'll take that as you agreeing." Seeing the advantage of having a second-tier mythical beast on his team, Van Hyen nodded in agreement with her and wanted to shake hands, but when Ji-hyun extended her hand, Kelsa swatted it away. She pointed directly at Van Hyen and shouted, "Clearly I was the one talking to you. Are you ignoring me?" Van Hyen could only stammer that it wasn't like that, but Kelsa continued to yell, "You can't team up with this unknown person." Van Hyen tried to defend himself. "What do you mean, unknown? Aren't they all members of the Beast Association from elsewhere?" Kelsa was still dissatisfied and shouted, "I said no means no." At that moment, the instructor came over and said, "If the three of you have such a good relationship, are people from the Beast Tamer Association coming from elsewhere?" Kelsa was still dissatisfied and shouted, "I said no means no." At this moment, the instructor came over and said, "If the three of you have such a good relationship, why not form a group together?" Kelsa, hearing this, felt uncomfortable and questioned the teacher, "What makes you think we have a good relationship?" The instructor simply replied, "Isn't it true? Isn't your phantom beast very close to him?" Looking back, Jenna Ford was at Van Hyen's side acting coy, which made Kelsa furious and shout loudly, "Haven't I already said so? You shouldn't get too close to the enemy." The teacher thought to himself that these children were caught up in this mission. It really is too dangerous, so while the kids haven't entered the battlefield yet, they should enjoy a peaceful life. The scene shifts to another place where the IV drip continues to drip down as Liu Ting gradually regains consciousness. He is injured in one arm and around the neck. As soon as he woke up, Bai Shi was there to ask him questions. When his name was called, Liu Ting wanted to respond immediately but couldn't. He was bewildered, thinking to himself, "What is happening? Why can't I speak?" Bai Shi approached and informed him that his throat had been cut and his vocal cords were damaged so he could hardly make any sound anymore. "Here are my questions. You just need to nod or shake your head."